Shabbat Shalom, everybody. If you please take your seats, we're going to get started. It's wonderful to see everybody here. Great, wonderful. And if you're new, the president will ask you to stand up and introduce yourself in a little bit. Well, at the end of the service, but it's wonderful to have everybody together. So we're all going to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out as we prepare ourselves for sacred worship. Hine matov manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. So, Jeremy, please be seated in the front seat with your father. And we're going to have some guests up here on the Bima today. I had dental surgery on Wednesday, and I will undo everything that they have done with the pressure of singing. But we're here. We're all here together. And so we've got Stacy, Cantor Stacy, who's going to be singing, and also Sasha, freshly back from Israel, who's also going to be singing, and Jeremy's going to be leading the prayer. So, woohoo! We've got our fabulous musicians. So prepare to have an exciting evening. So welcome to everybody. And I would like to call up Cantor Stacy, who is now going to lead you with Shalom Aleichem on page 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Hayom, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKodosh, Baruch Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Yom. Mi melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Yom. Mi melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're going to go straight from there to page 138 for Lachadodi. Lachadodi.
Also, page 8, if you're in the small book, page 8.
Lachadodi. Likrat likrat kala. B'nei b'nei Shabbat likala. 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 Hitorari. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Yishmi'anu el hamichad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad. L'shem u'tifaret v'litgila la 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 la. Lachadodi tikrat tikrat kala. B'nei b'nei Shabbat likala. Lachadodi tikrat tikrat kala. B'nei b'nei Shabbat likala. Hitorari, hitorari, kiva ora, umi ori, uri, uri, shidaveri, kavod Adonai, ana yichnik la 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 la, lechadodi, tikrat tikrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat likala, lechadodi, tikrat tikrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat likala.
Thank you so much. And now, Jeremy's going to come forward and lead us in the Hatzi Kaddish on page 144. Jeremy was recently bar mitzvahed in time for his grandma to see it, but he's having another one. President's Day weekend, 2 portions of manna. Come forward. President's Day weekend in February. Well, hopefully he can hakafah with the Torah and actually touch it. We'll see. Page 144.
Yitkadal veyitkada shemei rabba be'alma divara chirote ve'amlich malchute b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kari ve'imru amen Yehi shemei rabba mevara Le'olam u'olamei almaya yitvarach yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitraman ve'yitnaseh ve'yitadar ve'yitalev ve'yitalol shemei dekudesha b'richu le'elam yikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Damim nan ve'amam ve'imru. Amen.
And now, Stacy will lead us in the Baruch Hu, our official call to worship. Jeremy, you may be seated. Thank you. You'll be back for the Ve'ahavta. And now, Stacy will lead us in our Baruch Hu.
Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai,
Sasha can come up. And Sasha, she was bat mitzvahed with us. She's our only confirmant. And I used to watch her at the other place when she was around 2nd or 3rd grade, taking piano lessons with Dan. And I said, one day, you will have a bat mitzvah with me. And we did, but who knew it was going to be at our brand new synagogue, Temple Emet. And we were waiting for it to be finished, and we had the date changed, and she learned things over and over again, but she's exemplary, and she's gone on to be an amazing devotee of Judaism. She goes back and forth to Yerushalayim. I think you have a Beshert soulmate over there. So please tell us, she was actually there when there were the rocket bombings, so please tell us about it, and about how much you love Israel before she leads us in Ahavat Olam, which is on page 150.
So yes, I just recently returned from Israel, and as I'm sure a lot of you saw on the news, there was a lot of excitement, I guess I would say. It was a very difficult time to be there, but it really, it just goes to show how amazing the Jewish people are, and how all of the people that I was around while I was there was very conscious about me, how I was feeling. I was there with my Besheret, my boyfriend and his family, and they were very conscious of, everything is going to be okay. We are a very, steadfast people, and we will get through this. I was there for Shavuot, and the first thing they did was show me to the bomb shelter to make sure that I would know where to go in case the siren sounded. So the reality there is a lot different, but it is a beautiful country, and it is an amazing country. And I will be going back in a matter of weeks. So if any of you are visiting soon or in the near future, I will be there, and I would be happy to see you there. So.
We're so thrilled to have you home. And yes, we should take another trip. Maybe if we don't go to Africa, we'll go to Yerushalayim.
Yes.
Africa doesn't seem to be doing too well. So, and you all should know that Sasha is the daughter of our violinist, Marianne, if those of you that are new here that don't know. So now, Ahavat Olam, a prayer. If you'd like to, I'll read the English below the prayer, the text, and then Sasha will sing the prayer. So you can lead them, Sasha, in the English.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta Amcha Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Alkein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachmeinu U'b'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha U'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed V'hem chayenu Ve'orach yameinu Uvahem nageh yomam v'layla Nageh yomam v'layla V'ahavtecha al tasir Mimenu le'olamin Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Ohev amo Yisrael
And now, Sasha, you can lead us in the the English. Together.
Yes, please, together. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael.
And we hear a little of that Israeli accent coming through now. Oh my goodness, isn't she fabulous? Oh, it's hard not to cry. Okay, so Stacy's going to come back up now, and she's going to lead us in the Shema on page 152. And then we'll have Jeremy come up for the Ve'ahavta. If you'd like to stand for the Shema, please do, or be seated, whatever is your custom and makes you connect to the divine.
Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Adonai Echad. Adonai Echad.
Thank you. And now we'll have Jeremy lead us in the Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha ubechol nafshecha ubechol me'odecha ve'hayu hadavarim
Page 154.
ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha uvelechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukashartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'isharecha Leman tizkaru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem Hadsher hotzeti etchem ve'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Yashar Koach. And now, Stacy.
Michamocha is on page 164 or 38 in the smaller book.
Actually, it's 158 and 40.
It's 158 in the small book. And 40 in the big book.
Okay,
Oh,
go for it. All right, go ahead. Michamocha, come on, let's do it. Here, wait, let's have a little reading here beforehand. Let's turn to page 157. Standing on the parted shores, or that's, you got whatever page you got there. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught, together, before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever you go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place in a promised land, and that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. And if you'd like to get up and dance, please do. And thank you, Jeremy. Please come forward and lead us in the Amidah. Thank you. And for those of you that have come in late, I had dental surgery on Wednesday, and they grafted tissue and did bone and all kinds of stuff in there. And I have all these stitches, and they tried to do it 2 weeks ago, and I ripped them all out, singing and talking, so I'm on orders not to do it, but I can't help myself. Okay, please rise as the ark is open for the Amidah.
Adonai sefetai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, ve'Elohei Abotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarach, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagador, Hagivor, Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'chonei Hakol, V'zocher Astei Avod V'imahot, Mevi Geula Libnei V'nechem, Leman Shemo V'achava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarach, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, V'chayei Hakol Atah, Ra Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mezachel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Ravim, Somech Noflim Verofei Holim, Umatir Asirim, Umechayim Emunatov, Lisene Afar, Micha Mocha Baal Gevuro, Umido Melach, Melech Memit, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Ne'eman Atah Be'achol HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Chayei HaKol, Atah Kadosh Shemcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim Lechol Yom, V'Halu Asela, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. We appreciate it. So it's nice to know that even after someone has their bar mitzvah, their little chasi, little half bar mitzvah. please be seated. That they go ahead and have a seat. We're going to do the sermon now. That they come back. They still come back, and the family, and we're so thrilled. So thank you so much. The sermons are actually a little bit longer today because, and I was thinking, oh, I should have made it shorter because of my mouth. But the reality is, tomorrow evening at sundown is Tisha B'Av. And so sometimes, if you have a cell phone, please turn it off. Sometimes, you would have an evening service and you'd be fasting all day from sundown tomorrow night, if you're traditional, until sundown Sunday night. And you'd be doing lots of prayers and things. So I wanted to include a little bit of Tisha B'Av into our Shabbat Parsha. And for those of you that are new here to Temple Emet, welcome. What we normally do is I take the portion of the Torah that is for that Shabbat, and then I make it valid and real to our contemporary world today. If you attend Torah study tomorrow morning on Zoom with Mark Tannen, my husband, you will get a more traditional perspective, letter to the law kind of view of the actual Torah. So we're giving you both things. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This Shabbos is Parsha Devarim. As soon as the sun sets, we'll go lead right into Tisha B'Av tomorrow, one of the darkest days in our Jewish calendar. And traditionally, it is a day of mourning, a day of fasting, a day of prayer and lamentations. The Mishnah states on the 9th of Av, Tisha, that's the name, Tisha B'Av, it was decreed that our fathers should not enter the promised land. The temple was destroyed the first and the second time. Bethar was captured and the city of Yerushalayim was plowed up. On this day, we experienced many horrific things throughout the centuries. We had in the ancient days the slander of the spies. While Moses was leading the Jews from Israel into Egypt, the spies were sent to Israel to take a look and report back on what they saw. And so some of them were very negative, 2 of them were very positive. But because of the negative accounting, this caused a decree that the entire generation could no longer be able to enter the land of Israel. And so this happened on the 9th of Av. The destruction of the first temple happened on the 9th of Av. Solomon's first temple destroyed, 100,000 Jews were murdered, and millions were exiled from Jerusalem. This happened in approximately 586 BCE. Then there was the destruction of the second temple on the 9th of Av, Tisha B'Av. Over 500 years later, this time 2 million Jews were killed and 1 million were put into exile. And this occurred in the year of 70 CE. Then we had the Bar Kokhba massacre, which followed the Bar Kokhba revolt. What happened was that everybody thought that the Jews are waiting for Mashiach, we're waiting for the Messiah to come, and they thought that the Messiah was Bar Kokhba. But that is not what happened. A group of Jews thought that they had found this Mashiach and this warrior who led them in this revolt against the Roman Empire. The Emperor Hadrian, he quashed the Bar Kokhba revolt, in the place that the last Jews stood, Beitar, was completely, this is what the Mishnah was referring to, completely destroyed on Tisha B'Av, as over 100,000 Jews were murdered. And then there was the plowing of the temple grounds 1 year after that event. We had on Tisha B'Av, many of you know, the Crusades. The first crusade was declared by Pope Urban II on the 9th of Av, Tisha B'Av. 10,000 Jews were killed in the first month. The Crusades brought death and destruction to thousands of Jews and totally wiped out many communities in the Rhineland and in France. And then we had the expulsion from Spain. The Jews were expelled from Spain at the climax of the Inquisition in 1492 on Tisha B'Av, yes. And then, if the Spanish expulsion wasn't enough, there was the English expulsion. In the year 1290, Tisha B'Av was the day that the Jews were kicked out of England. So we're a little backwards on the hundreds of years there, but this is still happening. It's been happening throughout the centuries. Many don't know, but World War I broke out on the night of Tisha B'Av in 1914. Germany, and our thoughts go out to those in Germany right now and in Europe that have been very much affected by the floods, declared war on Russia. Historians agree that this act directly influenced the Holocaust occurrence. The Warsaw Ghetto sent to Treblinka. On Tisha B'Av 1942, Jews were deported from the Warsaw Ghetto en masse to Treblinka concentration camp, and those of us that went to Europe, we saw this. And then we had the final solution. In 1941, on Tisha B'Av, the formal approval from the Nazis to proceed with the final solution happened, in which 1/3 of all living Jews died. Sir Rabbi Jonathan Sacks of blessed memory stated, Jews survived all the defeats, expulsions, persecutions, pogroms, the centuries in which they were regarded as a pariah people, even the Holocaust itself, because they never gave up the faith that one day they would be free to live as Jews without fear. And this is something that I think that Sasha had led us to understand about her time there. So the question that I pose to you on this Shabbat, on the cusp of 5782, is have we actually reached this point? Are we Jews able to live without fear in 2021 and beyond? Look at the Middle East. The terror and the conflicts on all sides never really seem to subside. Look at Jews around the globe, including here in America. Anti-Semitism and acts of hate are on the rise. As you see, we have security guards outside again. Will we ever be free to live as Jews without fear? Some things are under our control, and some things are not. At the end of the day, while the drama plays out on the global stage, the most important thing that we can do is take care of ourselves, who we are, how we behave, the choices that we make collectively, as it may make a difference, and it certainly will with the divine on high. Fear isn't something that only Jews have had to deal with and overcome. It has plagued humanity as a whole. It is debilitating wherever it can infest its poison. Dealing with fear isn't just a Jewish condition, it is a human condition. A few years ago, we took a fabulous temple trip to Cuba. How many in this room went to Cuba? It was exciting, very exciting. We saw so much that we loved, and we saw a lot to despair. In the New York Times essay this past week by Javier Corrales, The Day Cubans Lost Their Fear, he discusses how last Sunday, tens of thousands of Cubans took to the streets chanting for freedom and food, despite the political environment which thrives on instilling fear. He says for more than 6 decades, the Cuban regime has denied its people the basic building blocks of the human spirit and body. Sunday's protests, nonetheless, may be a turning point. In the past, the regime needed only to apply repression surgically. Fear was pervasive, and it kept everyone at home. But as so many Cubans chanted on this past Sunday, we are no longer afraid. It's too early to tell what happens next. More arrests and intimidation will likely follow in the coming days, and the protest energy may dissipate. Still, the protesters have spoken loud and clear. With more freedoms, they can build a stronger nation. With more food, they can survive and lead healthier lives. Patria y vida, that's all they want, homeland and life. Contrary to Castro's motto, homeland or death. Humanity as a whole needs to do things differently, as we take pride in here at Temple Emet. Without a willingness to change, there can be no growth. We were never afraid of that when we founded our Temple of Truth. The reality is fear is crippling and the most surefire way to destroy any chance of progress, hope, or life. No one should have to live in fear, either that which is impressed upon us or that of our own making. We can choose to live with fear or not. One thing I'm always struck by whenever I'm in Yerushalayim is how passionate everyone is about savoring every single moment and truly living life to its fullest. Nothing is taken for granted, right? Fighting for your country is a given, and everyone is prepared from kindergarten on. I was on an educator's mission in 1998, and I was surprised to find that children were prepared at the kindergarten age, this very tender age, to understand what it means to go into a bomb shelter during school and know that when you come out, your parents might be gone, especially if they're in the military. In America, we don't live with this kind of cloud or fear hanging over our heads. What I have always been struck by is that in Israel, for most, fear does not enter into the equation. Strength, resilience, and an acceptance of a reality that life hangs in the balance, and it is a gift, and it can be taken away at any moment, so you better make each moment count. Parsha Devarim is the first parsha in the last book of the Torah. It's all about speech, our words, what has been given to us by God, relayed by Moses, and an entire review of what we have been through. so that the future can evolve and that we may never forget. Words, speech, matter. It isn't an accident that on Parsha Devarim, me who talks so much is not supposed to be talking. These words, create words and instill fear. They can hurt and destroy the best of relationships if we aren't careful, something for us to start thinking about as we prepare for High Holy Days. Hitler used his words to instill hatred, fear, and to motivate others into unspeakable acts and atrocity. The pain we remember that historically plagued the 9th of Av is to remind us that we are a people who persevere, just as Sasha was told when she was in Israel. Against all odds, we can not only survive but thrive and go on to influence the world with our intelligence, our talent, our achievements, which have all been given to us by the divine. Who we are, what words we choose to use, and how we behave is up to us. We can choose to use our words to uplift, support, spread love, understanding, kindness, and infuse our lives in the world with positivity. God gave us free will and the power to make a difference with faith and not fear. As we look to the past and we prepare for our future, let us begin the process of reflection necessary for a good and sweet new year. Let us be mindful of the words that we choose and the emotions that we feed. Let us put our energy into faith and not fear, so that one day we will all live, not only Jews, but all humanity as a whole, truly free. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. And now I'm going to do the Misha Barak. If you please turn to 371. So if you have loved ones that you would like to say a Misha Barak for, please rise, and as Dan is playing, say all their names aloud. And then we'll sing the prayer on page 371. And also a special shout out to Terry Schneier, who had a procedure today as well. Deep breath in, deep breath out as we send our healing energy. Standing as Sasha will lead us in the Elenu on page 586. Is that the page number that you have in your book? 586? Okay, I just want to be sure. I don't know, because it used to change. I don't know. Okay. $586.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol latet gedula leortzer bereshit shelo lasanu kegayoy haratzot velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama shelo sam chelkenu kahem vegor aleinu kechol hamonam ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינה תוצאו בגובה מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו כך כתוב בתורתו וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Thank you, Sasha. Everyone, please be seated. And now I'd like to call forth our president, who is going to lead us first in the Kaddish on page 598, and then she will have some announcements for us.
For a change.
If you have somebody that you've lost in the last 7 days, the last week, would you please rise and say their name?
Max Coleman.
Sorry to hear. In the last 30 days, please stay standing, the Shloshim period. Would you please say anybody that you've lost? Harriet? If you've lost anyone in the last 11 months, would you please rise? Oh, and Sasha. Anybody else?
My brother David.
Sorry to hear. Please stay standing. Anybody else? And if you are observing a yard site at this time, please raise your hand.
Sandra Levinson, Oppie Untracked, Benjamin Wolf, and Jay Bernstein.
I know. Anybody else? Go ahead. Go ahead, Judy.
Barry Evans.
Please stand if you'd like. If you're not able, that's fine. Harriet?
Erwin Allen, my husband.
Yes.
My mom,
Louisa Claire and Mary Baker.
my mom, Greg Huff.
Has everyone had an opportunity to say the names of their loved ones? If you'd all please rise now as we say the Kaddish. Page 598.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash me rabah,
Amen.
v'almav divarach yirotei yamlich malchutei, v'chayin kon yom echon v'chayet dekol beit Yisrael, ba galal v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shemei rabah mevarach le'olam olamei amayah. Yitbarar yishtabach yitpa'ar yitromam yitnaseh, V'yet hadal, v'yet halel, v'yet halal, shemei dekudesha brichu. Ve'elen kol bechata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechamata, da'amiran v'yalma v'yimru, amen. Yehei shalom araba min shemayim, v'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru,
Amen.
amen. Osei shalom b'mrarav, hu yasei shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru,
Amen.
amen.
Please be
Please
seated.
be seated. I am multitasking. Hold on. Now I'm going to give the announcements. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I can't tell you how lovely it is to see everyone tonight, even with the worries about the new COVID variant. We are vaccinated and we are here. I think it was Woody Allen who said, 80% of life is showing up. Yep, here you are. You showed up and we're on a roll. Our service tonight is sponsored by Mark Tannen in loving memory of his mother, Harriet Tannen. And our flowers are sponsored by Harriet Allen in loving memory of her husband, Jeffrey Irwin Allen. Thank you so much to Rabbi Cantor Devi for bravely doing everything you did tonight, including a lovely sermon. Thank you, Cantor Stacy Morse. Lovely job. Sasha Reck, it was so lovely to have you back. We miss you terribly. I'm going to Israel. No, I'm not. I would like to go to Israel with you. My last trip at Israel was spectacular. I wish I could go back. Thank you to Dan Spector. Lovely music with Marianne Rothstein on violin and Hilda Weintraub on harp. Thanks always to Mark Tannen and Andrew Liu for their help with the live stream. After tonight's service, we're going...
Jen, we got to thank Jeremy for chanting the
Oh, my goodness. I've been thanking him from behind. Yashakoa, you were wonderful. I'll thank you again. Thank you. Okay. Consider yourself thanked. I'm not doing it again. After tonight's service, we will be going to Di Roma Cucina on Hawthorne Boulevard, just north of PCH. And if you haven't already let us know that you want to join us, please tell us, because we have reservations. We have the whole restaurant, and they're going to give individual checks. Isn't that lovely? Okay. Lunch Bunch, remember that? We are going to meet on Wednesday, August 11 at 12:30 at the Pan on PCH and Oak Street. So let me know if you want to go, and I'll be sending out the usual email telling you that we're meeting, and please let me know. Sisterhood meets on the third Tuesday, July 20th, 7 o'clock. You're at the building, right, Wendy? Mm-hmm. We will have 2 services with new member happy hours in August, and that's Friday, August 6th and August 20th, starting with drinks and snacks at 5:30, and a service following at 6 o'clock. No? Not changing that? We're changing that.
The happy hour is for everybody. It's an open house. It's from 5 because we normally gather at 5. It's from 5 to 5:30, and the service is from 5:30 to 6:30. This is what you will see in the ads that are going to be around. And then we are going on the first Friday to Misto Cafe afterwards for dinner. And on the third Friday, hopefully everyone will love Di Roma Cucina, and we will go back because they give us the whole room and separate checks.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Rabbi. If I could do this without error, it would be wonderful. But since I can't, you know I'm perfect except when I'm not. Okay. On August 6th, we will be dedicating all of the new stained glass tribes and letters that were purchased during this past year of COVID. There's our board. We've got them. We're going to be dedicating them. And we will be dedicating new leaves on our tree of life as well. So you don't want to miss that. That's August 6th. Now, believe it or not, we are preparing for high holidays. Musicians are starting rehearsal in August. Erev Rosh Hashanah is Monday, September 6th at 7 p.m. Rosh Hashanah is Tuesday, September 7 at 10:30 a.m. We're looking for shofar blowers. For those who want to learn the calls, Amy is going to be teaching a class in August. We'll pay attention to your email for more details. You need to blow the shofar. You got it. You need to blow it. You, yes, you. Okay. Anybody else who feels brave enough to want to learn how to blow the shofar? Amy will teach you. If she won't, I'll divorce her. She's my daughter. Sorry about that. Okay, after the service at Rosh Hashanah, plan for Tashlik at the pier in Redondo Beach, followed by a meal at Kincaid's. And Tashlik at the meal is right behind Kincaid's. Kol Nidre with our fabulous cellist Ruslan Biryakov is Wednesday, September 15 at 7 p.m. And Yom Kippur is Thursday, September 16 at 10:30 a.m. It will end with Yizkor and Nila. And the Break the Fast at 7 p.m. will be at Di Roma's. Assuming we love it tonight, I think we will. But that's our plan. Okay, so please let us know if you're coming again, because we do have reservations. Now, please pay your membership dues either in whole or in part as soon as possible. Why? Because we're going to be mailing your high holiday tickets, and you have to pay at least in part in order to get your high holiday tickets. And they're being cut as we speak in the back. Wonderful. So this week you should be receiving the packet with my letter of high holiday information. And this, of course, is what was on the email a couple of weeks ago. It'll have the due sheet, the order form for extra tickets, and Yiskor information order forms, and also stained glass and Tree of Life purchases. Now, sisterhood information is also included, although they sent a separate letter. Now, we are also going to be adding to the Tree of Life remembrance page of members who have passed on. And if you want to be one of those listed who remember them, please send your checks for $36 along with the completed Yiskor form information. I'm not done. I know I'm almost done. Hang in there. Okay. Mark Tannen's Bible study class on Tuesdays continues on Zoom, as does Torah study on Saturday mornings right after a Friday service. And Roger Peterson's Monday meditation class continues. So ask for more information if you're interested. Thank you. Stay well until we meet again. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much. You can stay up here. We're going to all bless one another with the Birkat Kohanim. Please rise. I want to thank everybody for participating. But first, anyone who's new to the congregation that is just here, could you please raise your hand and introduce yourself? Go ahead.
Julie.
Wonderful to have you here.
Shelley Leaf.
I hope you're all coming to dinner. I know you are, Shelley. Wonderful to have you here. Yes.
Judy Evans.
Judy, and we've been having lunch with Judy at the Pan. It's been great. We're glad you're here. And in the back we have, they've been coming a few times, Ed and Grace. We're thrilled to have you both. Anybody else that's been here? Well, some of us are old friends and new friends. Nice to have you here. So, are we ready to bless one another with the Birkat Kohanim? So we're so grateful to God that we're all here together, that we are able to use our words and our speech and direct our hearts and our minds toward Emet, towards the truth that we wish to seek out and that we wish to share with others. So we ask that those that are fasting for Tisha B'Av from sundown tomorrow until sundown Sunday have an easy fast. And we ask that the divine be with us and bless each of us with an abundance of good health and happiness and joy so that we can share and uplift one another. And you can say Kingdom Ratzon after each line of Hebrew. That means may it be God's will. Yevarach Adonai v'yish merecha. Yaher Adonai panav alecha v'yichuneka. Yisa Adonai panav alecha v'yisemcha. May be God's will. Everybody, if you want to come to the dinner, we have the whole place, so don't worry if you didn't RSVP. It's on Hawthorne, right before you get to Pacific Coast Highway, in between Tuesday morning and Big Bear
And Black
Diner.
Bear Diner.
Black Bear Diner, sorry. Okay, all of you stay up here. Stacy in the middle. Kendra, Stacy, thank you. Thank you to everyone who participated. Jeremy, you want to get up too? We're going to all sing Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom. Nuri Hirsch. Oseh Shalom. It was on the menu. Oseh Shalom.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל.
Shabbat Shalom. Patrick, hold on. Ed and Grace, please meet Tilde and Elias. Tilde and Elias, right, turn around, right behind you. Please meet Ed and Grace if you haven't met them. Introduce yourselves.